Okay.
Here, let me see. Found footage right there.
There it is. Okay.
All right.
Don't get the code on here though. We have valuable stuff.
On your left.
You're listening to Doc Walks with Ben and Keith.
Here's our vending machine there.
Ooh la la.
Got that about a year ago.
Yeah.
Total game changer. I actually just got an instructional video about how to strategically place vending machines.
Oh.
So now I look at vending machines differently. Here's the office.
I'm having some flashbacks from Chop and Steel,
Yeah.
stepping back into this office.
And what was that, like 5, 6 years ago? We got even more tape since then.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's become a problem. We had a second office because we were just overflowing, and then we lost a subletter, so we had to move all the tapes into one office, and they're just stacking up. I mean, like, look at How to Strip for Your Lover is in a box on the floor.
Oh,
So,
that's a shame.
yeah, I know.
Well, but at least it's like readily available. You know right where
I
that
know
is.
exactly where How to Strip for Your Lover is, yeah. Okay.
I'm here with Joe Pickett, my buddy.
Yep.
A guy I have made a documentary about.
Yep.
Documentary filmmaker, comedian, performer,
All those things. Author,
author. What else?
softball player.
Softball player.
Yeah.
Works at the Onion.
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, I used to.
Contributor.
I could work at the Onion if I wanted to. I'm a contributor. I'm still on the emails, so I could send them jokes if I wanted to, but I haven't. Yes, all those things. It's me. Here we are, Found Footage Festival offices.
And most importantly, you are half of the Found Footage Festival, which there's a big sign right here
Yeah.
up above. And then this is your set where you guys you record your show VCR Party.
We do a Tuesday night show on YouTube called VCR Party. We used to do it in the office, and then the pandemic happened, and then we're like, oh, this is way easier to do at home. So,
Right. Oh, so you don't, this actually isn't your set anymore.
no, this is the old set. I mean, we'll come in here, we call them thons. We'll do marathons where we just watch one type of video all day long and raise money for charity or for ourselves or
Okay.
some sort of cause or project or something. But yeah, we just use that for this now. It's mostly an office for fulfilling our found footage orders and storing the tapes, really. Half the collection is here. The other half is in Chicago. I just moved to Chicago, so.
This isn't even the whole collection?
No, there's like
Wow.
7,000 more videos down over in Chicago.
Oh my gosh. And you know what I'm just noticing? I haven't seen this before.
Oh yeah.
This is all, these are all scenes from Chop and Steel.
Yeah.
What's the story with this?
A guy, Bill Mancuso, he's an artist. He creates toys, and he creates all this cool stuff for us. Here, let me twist this around. Yeah, he makes all this.
Wow.
He's a really talented guy. So he made us. This is a buffet dangler, which is a reference to a Pizza Hut training video.
A buffet dangler. That seems like the kind of thing we may not be able to say on this show.
It does sound dirty, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like you look it up on the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, and you're like, ooh, what is that? Yeah, it's like right next to the rusty trombone.
Right.
The buffet dangler.
Yeah, so this is a museum at this point, like a very disorganized museum. We got Rejuveniques on the wall.
Wow.
We got like fan-made clowns. We got a shitload of VHS tape rewinders.
Ooh, that one's a Corvette.
Yeah, that's the classic. That's the sleek one. Look at this though. We got
What is that?
100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Wow, and they send you a plaque.
They send you a plaque that we kind of just hide up on a shelf. But we also had the
Yeah, it blends in right next to the how ordinary people get rich VHS tape there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you see how footage was spelled?
Fotage, Found Fotage
Yep.
Fest.
Yeah.
That's sort of apropos,
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
Yeah. Wow, so how many tapes would you guess you have here?
Well, I always say 14,638 with no doubles, because that's roughly what I estimated one time like 6 months ago.
Wow.
And no doubles. We started getting rid of our doubles by doing VHS of the Month Club.
Oh,
So
okay.
for $12 a month, you can get a VHS tape from the Found Footage Festival collection delivered to your doorstep. So,
Okay.
we're trying to, we don't want to throw this stuff away.
So you're thinning it out. Yeah.
We're sending it out to people who might not have good thrift stores near them, so they
Right.
can get a good weird tape. We don't send them like, Titanics or like, Liar Liar or Jerry Maguire or anything.
Right.
We send them.
These are like instructional videos, kind
Yep.
of like obscure,
That's what we
unusual
collect.
things.
Yeah, that's what we collect is special interest, mostly special interest. I think
Okay.
is the category. But hunting videos or dance instructional videos, and
Yeah.
that's our bread and butter since day one.
Well, and you have the unique distinction of being one of, I think actually the only guest who has ever gone from documentary filmmaker to comedian
Yeah.
with a traveling archival show.
It was a documentary that got us into this.
Exactly. Which is so wild, because usually it would be sort of the other way around, you would think. Like
Right.
somebody would go into movie making from stand-up comedy as like maybe a safer career
Yeah.
choice, but you went the other direction.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
tell us that story.
Okay, so I've always had a love of weirdos. Like
Yeah.
since I was very young, I've always been. My grandpa was a weirdo, so like I
You
speak.
come from a long line of weirdos.
I speak fluent weirdo, and I love being around them. I love movies about weirdos, and I don't know, they're just more interesting than normal people.
Yeah.
And Nick and I, we've known each other since we were in 6th grade. Once we got our driver's licenses, we would go around and we would drive and go on road trips. And we went to a truck stop one time, and we found an album by a guy named Larry Pierce. And he's a dirty country music singer. He wrote these like jaw-droppingly filthy songs.
And when you say album, that sounds almost like highfalutin. These are like cassette tapes that you buy at like a truck stop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It was a cassette tape.
Yeah. And do you remember the name of it?
Songs for Studs. Yeah, was the first one.
Okay.
But we put it in. We thought it was going to be like novelty music, slide whistles and like winking at the camera and just
Yeah.
not very good. But the songs were genuinely well written. The guy had a great voice. The lyrics were clever. He eased you into the dirty song. Like he didn't just jump into a dirty song.
Right.
He started it off as a love song. Then maybe like a third of the way through, he started giving you hints like, oh, this is a dirty song.
Right. Because the songs are titled like, what? Like,
Well, I think the best example is I Like to Fuck.
yeah, very subtle, very poetic.
But it starts off like, there are things that people like to do. People shooting pool and playing cards and, stuff like that. And then he's like, but what I like to do is I like to fuck.
And so,
so
you guys hear this and you're like mesmerized, like, who is this weirdo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we need more. So we went back to that same truck stop and we got other movies or other albums by him. And turns out he had about a dozen at truck that you could only get at truck stops. You couldn't get them anywhere else. And so we knew all his lyrics, we knew all his songs, and then I was like, we got to shoot a music video for this guy. And Nick and I had been making videos, mostly in our backyard. In
Yeah.
college, we went to college together. We
Yeah.
would shoot videos.
And you guys grew up in Wisconsin, in like small town Wisconsin.
Small town Wisconsin,
Right.
Stoughton, Wisconsin.
Stoughton, yeah. And so there's not a ton to do there. So
No.
you guys are like kind of creating your own fun.
Exactly.
And I know this from making the documentary about you guys, but you start like doing pranks and you're like writing a comedy newspaper,
Yeah.
you're selling prank phone call tapes at your high school. So
Yeah.
you guys are like interested in comedy
Yes.
and like,
And there's a ton of comedy around you in a small town.
Right.
Everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. And, we weren't like big drinker partier guys. We liked watching dorky comedy stuff. And
Right.
We loved The Onion and we loved all that stuff. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of comedy to be found in the Midwest. And we found this guy, Larry Pierce, and I was like, let's shoot a music video for him. Or maybe we can do a short documentary about him.
yeah.
And so I wrote a letter to the distributor and I said, hey, big fan of Larry Pierce. Is there any way we could make a video for him or something? And they said, I will forward it on to Larry. And so within 6 days, I got a response from Larry
Yeah.
saying, handwritten in pencil,
Yeah.
saying, I appreciate the letter, but my life's not that interesting. I work third shift in a factory and I write dirty songs on the weekends and I play them with my buddies.
And you're like sold.
Yeah. So Nick and I, we called it our suicide pact. We just both quit our jobs immediately.
Wow.
And-
And how old are you at this point?
This is 2003. So what am I? 26
Okay.
or so? Yeah, mid 20s or so.
Okay.
I was working at a video and film rental house
Yeah.
in Minneapolis called Cinequipped.
Right.
And so I would duplicate videos for people, but I also rented out equipment, so I had a ton of equipment. So I was like, I have all this equipment.
Right.
Let's just go follow this guy for a weekend. We had all the bells and whistles, lights and everything.
Cool.
But we never made a documentary before. So I actually remember watching a bunch of Maisel Brothers stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're a two-man crew.
Right,
you know?
right.
And I remember thinking like, man, if they could do this in, what was it, the 60s?
Yeah, with a great big 60mm camera and
on
huge
analog.
Nagras. Yeah.
They shot it on analog. We have a DVX 100, you know.
Yeah.
And I know how to do audio, and we can get a two-man crew with this. So
I interviewed Albert Maisels way a long time ago, and I asked him like, what's the ideal size of a crew? And he's like, the only size for a crew is 2.
Yeah. I agree with that, though.
Yeah.
If you have too many cooks in the kitchen, it's just going to throw everybody off.
Exactly.
And then it feels like a shoot. So
yeah.
So it actually worked out well because, you know, these people weren't used to having cameras around, and we could kind of be a little hidden. We had a small camera, audio mixer, and followed him around for 4.5 years. And so the way that it started was we were there for a week. We met him and his friends, and we're like, oh, these are interesting. They're great people. They're funny. And, you know, this documentary probably has, you know, could be a short, could be a 15 to 20 minute short.
And did you save up money? Like you quit your job, you go to Indiana where this guy lives, you're filming with him?
Not yet. So at the end of the week, while we were there, Larry got a phone call from somebody in Las Vegas who wanted to bring him there. He was being forced into retirement at his job. He worked third shift at a factory.
Which just sounds like a country lyric.
I know, exactly. and married with kids, and but he was getting laid off and he was bummed out. But then he got this call from somebody in Las Vegas who wanted to have him down on the Strip and have his own show. And he'd never been out of Indiana. He's never played his music outside Indiana. That's when Nick and I were like, okay.
Here's the story.
Well, we were also like, that's the suicide pact.
Right.
Once we found out, oh, there's something happening with the story.
Yeah.
Nick was working at David Letterman at the time. And I was working at the the film rental house.
Right.
And so we're like, let's just quit. So we both quit. And we're like, we'll figure out how to raise money. We didn't know how to do anything. But you know, when you're in your 20s, that's
it doesn't
when
matter.
You do stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is the time to do it, and when you don't know how hard it's going to be.
Yes, exactly. I don't think I would do that now.
Well,
I'm jaded.
You don't have a real job to quit.
No, I really don't. I kind of figured it out. I'm living at the poverty level still, but still, I love what I do. So, we quit our jobs, and then we went back down to film with him, and he's getting ready to move out to Las Vegas, and we're like, we got this great story. And they were depleting their food supply because they were going to move, and I was excited, and he was like figuring out a set list, and then all of a sudden they pull the plug on him and say, oh no, we're not going to do it anymore. It was just like that. And he got really depressed, and he was like, oh man, now I'm getting laid off. I got my hopes up for this thing, and now I'm still just going to be here. So we're like, okay, we had already quit our jobs at this point.
Are you calling your old job back, being on second thought?
No, I'm not. I'm like, we got to figure this out. So we found out that there's this whole world of dirty music out there. At the time, this is 2003.
Right.
It was all, underground stuff. There was no Spotify back then or streaming.
Sure.
But there was this, they called them party records, like back in the 60s. And we found out that there was this band called Doug Clark and the Hot Nuts. An all black, like kind of dirty blues rock kind of that would play frat houses. So we went to this frat house and we watched these old guys load up all their stuff into a frat house.
Wow.
With all these like kind of like rich white frat kids, and we're just like, these guys are elderly. They're elderly.
Wow.
And they're still doing these dirty songs.
And so you cover these guys, they're in the movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
We followed him, or Doug Clark. Well, Doug Clark's dead. It's his brother, but they still call it Doug Clark's Hot Nuts. And then we followed Blowfly for a weekend, and that was insane. He's the original dirty rapper. We followed Dr. Dirty, John Valby, upstate New York. He still tours. He's still around.
Wow.
And he sings filthy songs. And then we found this band called Itis, who was covering Larry Pierce songs.
How about show us the Dirty Country poster here?
It's a Dirty Country poster. We had...
get a visual for Larry Pierce.
Yep, that's Larry Pierce. That's Aesthetic Apparatus did the artwork for it out of Minneapolis.
Cool.
And
right next to your elf painting.
Yeah, it's the elf painting's a very long story. You know?
We don't have time for that.
No, it's a whole other podcast. Yeah.
But we were talking about the origin of found footage. So you guys are making this documentary. You're figuring out like, oh, we got to pay for this now.
Right. Right.
And
well, we had always wanted to do it. I called it the Cine Magic Video Club when I worked at a video duplication house, and I would get, I'd get like industrial films that I'd have to duplicate, like safety films, and I was like, oh, these are too good.
right.
Like I got to show my friends these things. So I would always make an extra copy for myself.
And these are like McDonald's training videos and like
insurance safety videos.
Yes.
Federated Mutual Insurance. They put out these incredible safety videos.
So
I would make copies. And then I had a subscription service to mostly my friends, but some other people got it. It was like, it was the tape trading era of VHS.
Yeah, I know it well from Winnebago Man, and we talk about that in that movie. I interview you guys, which I think is how we first met, right?
Winnebago Man.
Yeah, is that I knew about your show, and that you guys showed Winnebago Man as part of your show, and that you would go and find these people in the clips often. And so I reached out to you guys about helping me find Jack or letting you know I was trying to find him.
Yep.
And then came to Nick's apartment.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah. And didn't
well, I remember when you came, I was like, well, good luck. We tried finding him, and we couldn't find him anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, even if you do find him, like, I was rooting for you, but I was skeptical of how far you would get.
You were like, this kid doesn't stand a chance.
Exactly. And it sounds like you were kind of like us at the time too. You're using credit cards. You're asking people for money.
Oh yeah.
You're quitting jobs.
Well, the difference is that I'd studied film as an undergrad, and then I was basically like making a living making films for other people and then making my stuff on the side.
Yeah.
So I had like an understanding of how you would maybe go about funding something.
Okay.
But the similarity is that because it was about a foul mouth blooper reel basically and me finding this guy, nobody was giving me grant money to do that, and so I basically had to just use my own money and bank loans and credit cards and the goodwill of friends to come and work for free.
I also was skeptical of how you would make a documentary out of this, like a feature length. Were you thinking short at first?
No, I'd made at least half a dozen shorts, if not more, and I was coming out of grad school. And that was actually my senior thesis project. And I did make a short version to fulfill my grad school obligations.
Okay. Yeah.
But I used the Wes Anderson bottle rocket model where I was like, I'll make a short, use that to, at the time I wanted to raise some money with it. I didn't end up raising money, but I found my collaborators. I found Joel Heller, my producer, and Malcolm Pollinger, producer and editor, on the strength of the short, basically. And then that helped me turn it into a feature, but I was hell-bent on like, no more shorts. This is going to be my first feature, you know, come hell or high water.
I guess what I was skeptical of is how are you going to find a story in this funny internet video?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And I really lucked out that Jack Rebney sort of
was a gem.
Yeah, you know, and he pretended to be one thing on the first trip and then called me back and had me come back the second time, and then that blew up, and then the third time was so the 1, 2, 3 structure provided a perfect arc.
Yeah. Well, with Larry, we had to redo everything once we found out he wasn't going to Las Vegas.
Right.
And then he found this band, Itis, and who had been covering his music. And when we met Itis, they're like, we heard that Larry doesn't have any teeth and that he puts in his dentures and he'll spit out his dentures. Like all these like things about like this legend of Larry. It's like, no, he works at a factory and writes these songs in his garage. And they're like, what, really? So we're like, okay, we found a new arc here. Found a new story. And so they went and met with him, and they're like, they met him and they hit it off right away. And they're like, Larry, you can't be playing these songs in your garage in small town Indiana.
Right.
You need to take this out on the road. So they lined up a whole tour. He played for the first time. The ending of the documentary is him playing for the first time on a stage in Minneapolis for people who know all of his songs, because Itis had been playing his songs.
Oh, cool.
And he found this whole new world of friends. I mean, it was a happy ending because he got laid off from his job. But now he found this new career path, some new friends.
Oh,
and he got on Howard Stern's show. Howard Stern was a fan.
Amazing. See, so you did something similar that I inadvertently did for Jack Rebney, which is like gave them this kind of spotlight or this stage on which to be celebrated. And I didn't know that was what I was doing necessarily starting out, But I approached it as a fan, and like I just loved this clip, and I was really sincerely curious to meet this guy, and there was like zero gotcha, I'm
Right.
gonna make some sort of like funny, like laughing at you expose. And it's interesting that like both of our movies kind of have the same ending in a way.
Well, exactly, and both of us saw the genius in what they did. And
Right.
if there's, if we love it, like the other people are gonna like it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's
So-
true. We just have to trust, I guess. that,
Exactly.
like, yeah.
Exactly. You just have to tell the story right.
Yeah.
You know?
So you make the movie. It premieres at South by, right?
Yep.
And then what happens from there?
It wins at South by. It wins the audience award. Too. It did well. We sold out all of our screenings, which I think isn't that hard to do at South by Southwest. People were laughing and cheering, and it was so fun. I just have so many fond memories. South by Southwest will always be my favorite because of that. We had
Yeah.
2 other shorts in South by Southwest before that.
Uh-huh.
And it was just always, Austin was just a magical place.
Yeah.
It was just that draft house. You could get a bucket of beers, and I was like, this
Yeah.
is my favorite place.
It
And-
still is. It's
Yeah.
still magical.
yeah.
So what, you guys were making shorts before then, and
Yeah.
what were those about?
So the first one that we got into South by Southwest was gas and fuel employee training video number 4A, Making It Happen. And that was based on McDonald's training
It
video.
rolls right off the tongue. Yeah.
Well, that's what all these training videos are called. You know, they always have a really long name with a subtitle and then a number after it. So in high school, Nick stole a McDonald's training video
Yes.
called Inside and Outside Custodian.
I remember. This is the origin story
This
of
is the origin
Found
story.
Footage Festival.
And we
Yeah.
watched it constantly. We roomed together in college. We had a running commentary. We would invite people over to watch this McDonald's training video.
Yes.
And it was, it was like almost cathartic because we all had to work those shitty jobs.
Right.
Where you have to sit in this break room and watch this bullshit and work this demeaning job. And then once you take it out of there and you put it in front of an audience, or even a small audience, a dorm room or something, it's
Right.
like, I don't know, you feel like you're taking some power back or something, Just like,
Yes.
haha, I'm laughing at you, I stole your tape, and yeah.
Right. Well, and also like your love of The Onion and satire, and this
Yeah.
is sort of like a way of like you're on the outside of the entertainment industry, being from like a small town in Wisconsin, and this is almost like a way to like make fun of it or something
Yes.
too, right? Like to
100%.
comment on it from the
100%.
outside. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's empowering in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We knew that training video inside and out. We had the whole thing memorized, and I think it was when I was working at the film rental house. I was like, let's shoot one, because we had this old U-matic
Yeah.
deck.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We were like, we can shoot it on U-matic 3/4 inch. We can use these old cameras so that it looks authentic.
Yeah.
And let's just write a script, our own script, for a fake gas station called Gas and Fuel.
Funny.
And we borrowed some parts from the McDonald's training video, but we made a 30-minute training video.
Wow.
We got really ambitious, which turned out to be way too long.
Yeah, that's way too long.
Yeah.
But that still got into South by?
So then we screened it for a few people, and we could just kind of tell, like, all right,
Yeah.
the joke's over 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
So I re-edited it down to like 8 minutes.
Okay.
And then I got it to South by Southwest.
Nice.
Yeah. So that really came from the McDonald's training video.
Yeah.
That we'd been watching since high school, I think.
By the way, I'm looking at you, and also it's really hard to like make eye contact because you have an enormous Bart Simpson mask right over your.
Yeah, some guy was at an estate sale upstate, and he emailed us. He's like, "Do you guys want this?" And we're like, "Of course."
Of course we do.
Yeah.
It goes nicely with your Nacho Chihuahua the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much stuff in here to look at.
I
Like
know.
your baby camera,
Send us stuff at this point.
Bubba Smith's workout video.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The Rent-A-Friend original video companion.
The Star Wars holiday special there is like the original bootleg.
Wow.
We got I Want to Be a Mole Killer autographed by Jeff Holper.
Well, now you're just showing off.
Guilty as charged.
What is this break room picture over here?
That's shall we have Caitlin McGurk from the Billy Ireland Cartoon Museum in Columbus.
Okay.
I mean, speaking of archives, they, their stuff is like, Beetle Bailey, Kathy,
Wow.
like Blondie, all these old. And so that woman in the picture is holding up a picture of Kathy. I don't remember what the story was, but I remember seeing that photo and telling Caitlin that I loved it because I think that's the creator of Hagar the Horrible on the wall behind her.
Hagar the Horrible.
And I was like, I love this picture. It's in a break room.
Oh, it's
She's
so
holding up
good.
There's just so much happening.
She's wearing a fanny pack.
Yeah,
It's
so
all
she-
brown.
So Caitlin blew that up and put it in a frame for me.
It's really incredible.
It's one of my favorite photos of all time.
What do you think, like, what do you think of when you look at that photo?
I don't know. I think of a lot of stuff. A lot of times I'll try to piece together the story, you know, like what's happening, why are they all here, what led them to this point. But then also there's some nostalgia, just like having to go to a stupid meeting and having somebody stand there. And also just the weirdness of why do you have the creator of Hagar the Horrible? I don't know. I just kind of, I guess I maybe look at it more like trying to find the comedy and everything.
Yes,
There's a lot of comedy to find in this one.
For sure. Yes. So for the people who are listening and not watching this, there's a woman standing in what is very obviously like a corporate break room, holding up a hand-drawn picture of the cartoon character Kathy. And there's 3 elderly or like middle-aged women with like middle-aged Midwestern short hairdos.
They look like Far Side cartoons, don't they? They
Yeah.
look like characters in the Far Side.
And they're all looking intently with their hands full on the table at this woman who's holding up this picture. And then behind her...
She has a fanny pack too, did you say that?
Oh yeah, no, I haven't said. She's wearing a bright white fanny pack, the woman who's holding up the Kathy cartoon. And then behind her is a framed headshot of who Joe is telling me is, I guess, the man who created Hagar the Horrible.
Yeah, or High and Lois, or maybe, I don't know. He did one of them. Maybe he did.
He looks very serious
I think it's
and
Dick Brown.
and very tan, and he
Yeah.
has shock white hair, and
Yeah.
he look. I mean, that could be like the CEO of a
Yeah,
like faceless, nameless corporation.
right. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a great photo.
I mean, this office is full of that kind of stuff, of just like things that are funny that are inadvertently funny.
Well, that's what I love about it, is that there's a million stories on these tapes.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the people are still alive out there. And so sometimes we get obsessed with a particular video and I want to know more about them.
Yeah.
We'll just do like just a simple Google search and be like, oh, that guy lives in New Jersey. Oh, I'm going to run over there next weekend.
Right.
And just do a short interview with him and see if. So that's what I've been doing since we started doing this. We try to track down a lot of the people in these videos
Yeah.
because they wanted to get this thing out into the world, and whether
Right.
they did or not, they still like the attention.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this thing is finally getting some legs. Like Rent a Friend is a great example of that.
Yeah.
He got a lot of attention for it right when it came out, and then it just kind of fizzled out. And then we found it, and then there's this whole new, renaissance of Rent a Friend. And he started reselling it, and
Wow.
yeah. Rent a Friend was this tape that we found at a thrift store. It was still in the shrink wrap when we found it, and the idea was that if you were a lonely person in 1987 and you had a VCR, this guy on the tape, Sam, he would be your virtual friend. So he sits there and he asks you questions for 45 minutes. It's one continuous take. He asks you questions and he leaves a pause for you to answer, and then he has this conversation back and forth, and then he talks about his personal life,
Oh my
tells you
gosh.
stuff, asks you questions about your family.
That's crazy.
And, yeah, it was crazy.
And wild to think that now 20 years later, there is such a thing as like AI friends.
Yeah.
And this is like, he was just way ahead of his time.
Yeah. No, and rent-a-friends are a real thing too. Like you can rent a friend to like, there's actually a great documentary that some other filmmaker did on Rent-a-Friend.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of like a Winnebago Man style story where like they go and they find the guy. And
I should send it to you. It's really good. I don't know if I just got an early cut, like the credits weren't even done yet.
Yeah.
I'm always skeptical, of like, how are people going to make this interesting? This filmmaker found a really interesting take
Yeah.
on the Rent-a-Friend thing, and he has like a arc, and he has a surprise in the middle. And I'll send it to you.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Really
I wanna
well
see it.
done. Yeah.
Well, to get back to your documentary
yeah.
career. So,
It's so easy to get sidetracked in here.
okay. So you guys premiere at South by, and you have spent all your own money. You quit your jobs.
Yeah.
So then, but at this point, you have already started the Found Footage Festival,
Yeah.
right? To help pay for it.
Well,
So then,
we didn't do it to help pay for it at first. I'd been wanting to do it since I moved to New York in 2003, and there were all these venues popping up that you could do showcases in the back of like a bar. So there's this one called Rafifi in I think it was East Village or Lower East Side. And I remember seeing a show there and being like, oh, we could do something like this.
Yeah.
And so Nick talked to somebody, was like, can we rent this out? And we already had cut some clips that Nick worked at Letterman, so he got a lot of funny, weird videos. He was a researcher. So if Arnold Schwarzenegger was on, they'd find an old, embarrassing video of Arnold Schwarzenegger and play it. So he had a lot of tapes. I had a lot of tapes from the Video Duplication House. So I already had some stuff cut for my tape trading thing that I started. So I was like, let's just put together all these short clips and charge $10 at the door and came up with the Found Footage Festival, which is a title I kind of hate.
If you had it to do over, what would you name it now?
I'd call it VCR Party.
Okay.
Yeah.
The name of your YouTube show.
Yeah, exactly. I think VCR Party's better. Although young people don't know what VCRs are.
That's true. But Found Footage is, strangely enough, the name of a horror genre now.
Not when we named it that, though.
Right. Yeah. It's like our production company, The Bear.
Yeah.
Like at the time, it was so strange, and it came from shared nicknames. Like my childhood nickname, or some family friends would call me Benny Bear, and then my business partner Barent, his name means bold as a bear in German. So when we were naming our production company, we were like, oh, The Bear. We've got that in common, and it was kind of like a cool, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And that was 20 years ago, and then 5 years ago a show comes out with the same name.
Yeah, you guys are impossible to Google now, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it was already difficult before. If you would look at the Bear Media, you'd get an entirely different work sample.
What if you added a second R at the end?
The Bear.
Oh, like 5 R's. No, you can't do any R's.
Yeah, that's too many R's. But anyways, yes. But I think in a way we both came up with the perfect name.
Yeah.
And we're stuck with it anyway.
We're stuck with it.
You may as well
change it. Yeah. We thought about changing it, but it was like, no, we can't.
Yeah, you can't now.
But people get confused because Found Footage is a genre of horror movies now, which when we named it in 2004, it wasn't.
No, nobody's ever heard of that.
Yeah. And the show's not really a festival. It's a 90-minute show. So, that.
So you guys
are the alliteration.
So you guys are liars, basically.
100% lie. Yeah.
Okay, so you do your first show. So you decide, like, hey, let's do a live show. Let's charge money at the door.
Yep.
Did you have any aspirations to want to be a comedian or a performer, or?
I think not, but maybe there was something in the back of me that, I don't know, I like attention, but I'm also terrified by it.
Yeah.
So in the early days, I was just a bundle of nerves. But I did love these videos, and I did love the feeling of showing them to people and having them laugh.
Sure.
Like, that was a great feeling. And so when we did it for this audience, oh man, it was so terrifying to, like, I'm new to New York too, so New York's still kind of scary.
Yeah.
And these people come to the show. There's maybe, I don't know, it seats like 25 people, and we had all seats taken, and people hadn't seen the Jack Rebney video before. People hadn't seen any of my industrial safety videos.
Yeah.
And people were doubled over laughing. I remember one guy like gasping for air while watching Jack Rebney.
Wow.
He'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, I think we're onto something.
Yeah.
And we just made a bunch of money. Like, not a bunch of money, but like $250 probably for the door that we could put into our documentary.
Right.
So we did that. We booked some more shows. After that, we got an offer from some places on the West Coast in LA, M-Bar, and then a place up in Seattle. So we're like, let's do a West Coast tour. So that summer, we kind of refined the show a little bit. We burned some DVDs.
Yeah.
And we were going to sell merch along the way. And we started up in Seattle, and we worked our way down the West Coast to San Diego eventually.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like a 2-week tour.
Cool.
What were we, 27 years old or so?
It's like being in a band.
It was
so exciting.
It was really exciting, and
so
we made money too.
And had the movie come out at this point? Had Dirty Country?
We're still working on it.
Still working on it. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't finish that until 2007. So at this time, we were still shooting the documentary, following up with Larry, and doing found footage shows at about the same time. And then taking all the money that we made from these shows and putting it into the documentary.
And so the movie comes out, it wins Audience Award at South by.
Yep.
And then what happens to the movie after that?
Yeah, like we did a bunch of other film festivals. It's a movie that doesn't have a lot of mass appeal because these songs are filthy. There's a lot of heart to it.
Yeah.
But, one of our producers on it didn't tell his parents at all that he was working. And I was like, I think we were talking about, talking about our parents, and like, oh, have your parents seen it yet? And he's like, my parents have no idea I'm working on this.
Right.
Yeah. So, the songs are really gross and dirty. So we went straight to DVD. We promoted it through our found footage channels.
Yeah.
And
did you make enough money back to pay for the making of it?
Who knows? I don't know. I mean, at this point, we're still selling the DVD.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we finished the documentary without, we had one producer come in, I think he dropped $15,000 for all the post-production stuff.
Okay.
I don't even know if everybody got paid back, or I don't know how, because we make $150 a year off of Dirty Country at this point.
Right.
And we just mix it in with all of our other stuff.
Sure, sure.
That was
But it served as like a calling card for you guys, as like you are sort of comedy archeologists almost. Like you kind of find these like strange comedic artifacts and you find the stories behind them.
Yeah. Well, but at the time we were on Found Footage Festival Volume 1, and we were like, I don't know if, maybe this is all we got in us.
Yeah.
But then while we were touring, we started finding more tapes. At that point, people were getting rid of their VHS tapes at thrift stores, and we were finding other stuff. Then people were bringing stuff that we would like, that they knew our sensibility. And then we did Volume 2, and that was another hit. Like the shows were getting bigger at that point. And then we always thought like, well, this is probably it now. Because like, when you start with like Jack Rebney and these insurance videos, and it's just like, where do we go from here? How are we ever going to find better stuff?
Right.
But we did. Yeah. But you can't envision it while you're doing it.
Sure.
You don't see that coming.
Which is a good life lesson. Like you just kind of keep going towards the thing that you're curious about and interested in and trust that it's going to work. And then here we are 20 years later, standing surrounded completely.
Yeah.
Like we can't even hardly move around. Like when I said like, let's do this in your office, I was imagining us like going around in circles and kind of, no, you can hardly move around in here. There's so many VHS.
No, I mean, we're still waiting for our ship to come in, like we're paycheck to paycheck here. Nick takes part-time jobs. I'm 100% in on this.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of time to think about it. And I like that. I like that it keeps me scrappy, keeps me hustling.
Right.
We come up with dumb ideas to try and make a few more bucks. Like we started, I think I told you, we started getting rid of our doubles as VHS of the Month Club.
So things like
we have to hustle. We started a streaming service called Rewindo, where we put up all of our stuff, our live shows, and some orphan films, and it's curated by us. And we have to be scrappy. But I just everything every day is something new. And,
sure. Well, but that's also like what it takes to be a documentary filmmaker too, right? You need to be scrappy. You need to
That's always my advice whenever I'm on panels at film festivals or something, or like that's always my go-to thing is like you have to be willing to sleep on couches. Especially in the world of documentaries.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of money in the world of documentaries.
No.
So you have to actually love it and be willing to sleep on a floor. Like I slept on Nick's floor for a full year while we were editing Dirty Country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you mess your back up or?
No, I figured out this position that was actually comfortable. Yeah. I had a cot and I hated setting it up every single night and making the bed. So I was like, I'm just going to sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
And I figured out this like almost like a tripod position with my feet where I like put one foot here and there and I could just be relaxed and I'd fall asleep in that position. It worked every single night.
Wow. Look and see it forced you to be scrappy, be creative, come up with alternate solutions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want you to show me some greatest hits here from The Office.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, half the collection's here, but the greatest hits shelf is right here. Are you going to get the...
Yes, here, I'll give the shots. So
okay.
Which one are you going for?
Well, all these are fantastic. You got Whiskers the Cat with Magical Attitude. You got Bonetics, Stack of Colorful Asses. I mean, these are from like very early on found footage shows, stuff that I
recognize
in the past.
Baby Rapper.
Yeah.
Here.
Dance along, sing along to Beatles songs with Baby Rapper.
Wow.
No idea who that video's for.
Yeah, that makes...
Because like Beatles fans probably wouldn't like it.
No.
Rap fans would not like it.
No.
Like,
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Even baby fans wouldn't like it. There's videos for nobody. You got Jingle Cats back here. I'm going to ask you to do a documentary about the creator of Jingle Cats, or somebody watching. Somebody, please do one on Mike Spalla.
Mike Spalla. Here, let's pull this one out.
This guy is a pioneer, but he's also very reclusive. He's a genius.
See, this is back to your whole cat fixation here. So Jingle Cats is like
fixation
is like cats singing Jingle Bell or like Christmas carols
in front of a green screen. And he's a pioneer for like internet cats too. but he's also a very serious person. He's not like a goofy, weird, like he's an artist.
Huh.
I don't know if he's an artist, but he treats us like art.
He thinks he's an artist. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say he's an artist, absolutely. But like, he started off with Jingle Dogs, which was a hit. It was like on cassette tapes. And then he went to Jingle Cats and he did a video of it. Then he did Jingle Babies, which I think he went a little too far. Jingle Babies.
They were like, hey, we'll give you the cats and the dogs.
Especially the babies are just really creepy. But I reached out to him over email one time because I wanted to do something with him. And
Yeah.
he seemed enthusiastic, then all of a sudden just ghosted. For like 5 years ghosted. Haven't heard from him. So I don't know if maybe he died, but I didn't see any obituaries.
Okay.
I saw one TV interview he did years ago.
Maybe he heard what you said about Jingle Babies and he just hasn't forgiven you guys.
I've been thinking that this whole time. I wouldn't actually.
You haven't said it.
Yeah, I don't think he'll probably won't watch this, but
What's going on with Frank Worley here?
this one found at a thrift store in Milwaukee. It's called Sing Along with Frank Worley.
And this is a VHS tape with a cover that's basically out of focus.
Yeah.
And Frank Worley is an older gentleman with a black cowboy hat and a bolo tie playing an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, and so these are all from Vesper, Wisconsin, small town in the middle of Wisconsin.
Okay.
And the mastermind is this guy, Bill Porter. And so on the back, there's a 1-800 number. And so we watch these and we're like, oh, this is perfect for our show.
Yeah.
Like we love it. There's these songs. It's very homemade, a lot of green screen.
Yeah.
And
So you called this guy?
so called that 1-800 number and they picked up. And it's been like 20 years since they put these out. Turns out they had like 10 more in this collection
Wow.
of these tapes. And I was like, oh, I want them all. They're like, go to our website and order them. But they were still selling them for like, 1992 prices. They were
Right.
still like $25 a tape. But I was like, I need all of them. So it's the most we ever spent on a series of tapes. I think we have all of them right here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
here's
yeah.
all of them. We got all of them, but we had to spend $25 on
And
each tape.
they're all starring Frank Worley.
Yeah. So then I went up there and I met Frank Worley and I met Bill Porter, the mastermind behind it, sat down and had an interview with him. And I was like, who did you sell this to? Like, who was the audience for this?
He was like, oh, you.
No, it wasn't me. It was nursing homes. Yeah. He's told me that nursing homes ate it up, that they would wear out the tapes. They would listen to it so often.
Jeez.
So we wrote a song for Frank Worley to perform for us for a found footage show. And
And he did?
he did. And I think he died a few months later. He was like right at the end. But
So you killed Frank Worley with your...
baby, with my fantastic lyric writing
exactly.
skills. Yeah. The song was too beautiful.
It was
to
too.
handle.
It was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's another interesting guy. That guy up there, he has a studio. I think he's a former cinematographer for like news, like
Yeah.
TV News.
Uh-huh.
So he had all this equipment, but he built this studio out of this like potato barn.
Wow.
And would green screen. He had reindeer on his farm, and he would put reindeer in front of green screens, and he would shoot like Christmas movies with it. Some of his stuff is just insane.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's speaks to the weirdos that you love.
Yeah.
And what's this VHS tape of erotic women? Right?
Oh, that's a classic. So it has one scene. So these are a dime a dozen for us. Like erotic women. We very rarely watch them because you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. There's like
This one.
nude bowling, nude
Yeah.
wrestling, nude.
Exactly. Nude
anything.
everything.
Yeah.
Nude barbecue where they're eating barbecue naked.
Wow. Two things you don't need to put together.
No, it doesn't work either.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me. Yeah. But erotic women, they have a section where they do profiles on the erotic women and some of their hobbies. There's one scene in there where a woman says her hobby is painting ceramic clowns.
Whoa.
And so she's half naked and she's painting a ceramic clown. And this, just the shot and what she's saying, I declared it to be the greatest moment in VHS history. Like it was the pinnacle of VHS for me, of this half-naked woman in lingerie very seriously painting a ceramic clown.
Wow. Yeah. It's like the highs and the lows.
How are you going to
and-
top that ever?
Yeah.
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 And so we were in Portland, Oregon.
I mean,
and,
I was gonna say Nacho Chihuahua the movie probably comes close.
well, that's a whole other story. So there's
Oh, sorry, but I interrupted you. You were in Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. We were at Movie Madness. Have you been there before? Oh, it's incredible.
Okay.
It's a video store there, and the guy also has all this movie memorabilia. I think he worked in the industry, and he has like the David Lynch gear there.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the best video stores of all time. And they always save tapes for us whenever we're in town.
Cool.
And he gave us Erotic Women 2.
Oh, no, there's a sequel?
There's a sequel.
Is she still painting clowns?
No, but there's another one in there where a woman describes her job at an Italian deli and goes into deep detail about the menu. It's like, we got meatballs, we got one called a Giuseppe Combo, we got, she goes into all the sandwiches on the menu.
Oh,
it's not as good as the painting the ceramic clown, but it's pretty good. Oh, Harvey Sid Fisher, he's another guy who I
know Harvey Sid Fisher.
Everybody knows Harvey Sid Fisher.
Yeah, he made a bunch of astrology. He made songs out of astrological signs, performed them in sort of like a Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, like sort of classic crooner style, and then weirdly got women to come in and be background dancers in costume.
Like interpretive dancers.
Yeah, so dressed like if it's Leo, there's a woman dressed as a lion doing like an interpretive dance in the back. And it was all like public access. Right?
It was Los Angeles Public Access. And it was one of those tape-traded videos, too.
And that is a scene that didn't make it into Chop and Steal when you go golfing with Harvey Sid Fisher.
Why didn't that make it in there? I remember that being fun.
It was fun, and it was...
I almost hit a hole-in-one on that.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Oh, I remember it. I thought that I had hit a hole-in-one. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be...
I remember that the whole thing was surreal and really fun and funny, but it just didn't kind of, it didn't there was no place, it didn't really like further any part of the story necessarily.
I want that footage though.
Okay.
Because he's a crusty guy.
He is. He was crusty then.
Meet him, you dive in head first with Harvey Sid Fisher. He has no off switch, no filter, no code switching. You know how
Yeah, some people like put it on for the camera. He is not doing that.
No, he's Harvey Sid Fisher all the time. And kind of like the dude, like Lebowski.
Yeah.
I remember one time he showed up to our Dirty Country screening. I invited him to it. He showed up. He was actually wearing a robe, and he had little airplane bottles of booze.
Oh boy.
Pockets.
Oh my gosh.
And he fell asleep during Dirty Country. I was sitting right next to him.
Thanks a lot, Harvey Sid. Yeah.
But he always has like booze like tucked. His golf cart. Do a documentary on Harvey Sid Fisher's golf cart because it's a memorial to all of his dead friends.
That's very neat.
He goes, do you want to use Shelly Duval's putter? He goes, I got this from Shelly Duval, her daughter. When she died, she gave it to me. He goes, this is just like a memorial for all the...
We always name the episodes based on a phrase that the guest says, and I think yours is going to be called Shelly Duval's putter.
I think that's a good one. Yeah, I think that's a
We think we just found our episode title. I keep looking at this Growing Pains poster, signed poster behind you.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
Okay, so we had an intern last year to help us get everything organized. And just a long story. But his dad is a friend of ours too, and his dad had this, and it was taking up space. There's not a lot of room in New York City. A lot of people don't have storage.
It's a big poster.
It's a big poster, and it has all the autographs of the Growing Pains cast. And his dad wanted to give it to Nick because he knew that Nick loved the show Growing Pains.
Yes.
So he took it from his apartment in Brooklyn, took it up to Queens on the subway, and his son, Luke, our intern, 14 years old, 15 years old, shot a documentary of that trip.
Oh, wow.
And this kid, you should have him on the show. This kid's going places. His dad, of course, it's like a funny thing of like his dad carrying this subway and the interactions with people on the subway. People saying, what's that? And him explaining, I got this all signed. It's my friend Nick.
Maybe we can give a link in the show description to this if it lives online somewhere.
I don't know if it lives online. We showed it on our show, on our Tuesday night VCR party show. I don't know if he uploaded it or what, but it's also like, what does this mean to you? Like, the kid was asking the right questions.
Yeah.
He was asking his dad, like, why are you giving this up? I thought you liked this. And so it got a little deeper than just like this quirky, I'm taking it from point A to
I
point
love
B.
it. I love it.
Kid, I'm telling you, invest in this kid.
He's going places.
We did a morning news show with him too.
Oh, this is the intern. Okay. I love this. So you and Nick were pranking local morning news shows. That's a big part of the movie that we made together, Chop and Steal. You guys have since stopped doing that since you got sued in federal court over these pranks. Yeah. But now your new intern is pranking morning news shows.
After we finished Chop and Steal, I thought, you know what? Let's just retire from these morning news shows. You made a documentary about us. We won the lawsuit. You know, we settled.
Yep.
Got everything that we wanted. We got all this attention. Let's go out on top.
Yep.
Let's just call it quits. And then, I don't know, we just saw that twinkle in Luke's eyes, our intern. And he came to one of the Chop and Steel screenings.
Yeah.
He asked a question at Tribeca. He asked, he goes, "You guys need an intern?" At that.
No, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
he raised his hand and said, "Do you guys need an intern?" I was like, "Yes, we do." It's like, welcome
man.
aboard.
Wow.
But so we saw that documentary he made about the Growing Pains cast, and and he loved Chop and Steel, and I had an idea for writing up a press release for him,
Yeah.
saying that he was a teen lecturer who went around to schools teaching kids about ways to get off of their screens,
Yeah.
and we called it Teens Against Screens.
Yeah.
And,
Which is a great name.
yeah, sent out a press release to just a couple places, got a hit back. They're still not doing their research at all. And Grand Rapids, Michigan, we got him on a morning news show. And the premise is, he goes on with these ideas for getting kids off screens, but they're all related to sticks and logs.
Of like how you can have fun doing things with sticks and logs.
Nature. So that was the idea, is like getting back to nature, but it's all stuff like throwing sticks at a pine cone and like using logs to smash Nutbell wafer. It's just ridiculous stuff that doesn't make sense.
Oh my gosh.
And they had him on for 9 minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, that's the way to do it. Is
Yeah.
have a kid do it. They
Yeah.
didn't question the kid. They questioned us as Chop and Steel. all the
Right.
time.
Well, you guys didn't look like strong men.
No, what?
Not at all.
Huh?
I'm sorry to break the news to you, but yeah, you and Nick don't look like bodybuilders.
No, but a kid shows up and they assume the best.
So is this now part of your found footage show?
Our volume 11, we include it. Yeah.
So okay, we're gonna put a link to that in the show. Show me one or two more things, and then we'll do our
See
lightning
Greatest
round.
Hits?
Yes.
Okay. Memorial Day 2000. This was featured in our first volume. Are you familiar with this?
Yes, I've seen this. This is a handmade VHS tape cover of a guy. It's a black and white photo. A guy's bare ass is hanging out of his pants. It looks like he's covered in mud.
Yep. There's a lot of mud fights.
And there's like a whole lot of text on the back.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote an awful lot about this tape.
Yeah, we found this at Atomic Books in Baltimore.
Okay.
It was for sale there, but it was one of those like kind of self-distributed things. The Found magazine, we heard about it through the Found magazine guys.
Yeah, Davey Rothbart.
Yeah. And but it was one of his friends found it at a garage sale in Kalamazoo, and it's just a debaucherous weekend.
I remember it's kind of like Lord of the Flies. It's like fireworks and guns, and everybody's drunk.
It's just such a great like time capsule of 2000.
Yeah.
It almost feels like
Burning
Woodstock
Man?
99.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was around the time of Woodstock 99.
Yeah.
Which was that, one where like
It was, the toilets were overflowing and nobody could get water. And
it's that. It's basically that, but just on a much smaller level. And again, great slice of life. I think the original tape was 2 hours long. Somebody shaved it down to 30 minutes. We made like a 3-minute cut for our show.
Wow.
And then we heard that all the people in it are school teachers from Kalamazoo.
Oh my
And
God.
I don't think they were happy about it getting out there for the world. So
Yeah, because they're not like teaching fourth graders and
Right,
yeah,
right,
having
exactly.
parent-teacher conferences.
yeah. And you could kind of tell they were a little bit responsible, but not really.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, so show me your last greatest hits here.
Here's this one. How to have cyber sex on the internet.
Ooh.
This was one of our first videos that blew up online. I made like a 3-minute edit and uploaded it. And it's put out by this company called Scimitar. And I just love how redundant it is. How to have cyber sex on the
internet.
An attempt to be in an instructional video.
Yeah.
And
What year is that from?
I think it was like maybe 99. Let's see what the year is on it. It's like right when the internet was coming out. The thing that I love about Scimitar, which again, great fodder for a documentary. Scimitar, we have tons of Scimitars.
Yeah.
They had their finger on the pulse of fads. Like as soon as a new fad would come out, like rollerblading
Yeah.
or whatever, they shat out a video immediately.
All about it.
Oh yeah,
How to do it.
Which Scimitar? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quantity over quality with
Yeah.
them. And so the internet was just coming out, and they're like, okay, let's show people how to have cyber sex.
You know what's interesting about that is I went to undergrad at the University of Kansas, and I didn't know this until going to school there, but there had been a film studio in Lawrence, Kansas, which was smack dab in the middle of the country between New York and LA. And It was called Oldfather Studios, and the guy who ran it, Charlie Oldfather, made all these old 16mm films that were basically like this. They were like, but they would show them at high schools, and it would be like, how not to be a snob, or like personal hygiene, or things like that. And then, you know, high schools would buy them by the
Was this the
dozens.
16mm, like 60s? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is like the 60s into the 70s. And then famously, he made a low-budget horror movie that is on Criterion collection called Carnival of Souls that was shot all in Lawrence and around there. But he was making money and had this huge building with a cyc wall and light grid and like a real studio.
Yeah.
But it was from making these like industrial, bizarre, niche, like high school films.
I have
basically.
a lot of training videos and safety videos and stuff, and some of them are really well done. Like some of the, like their effects, they'll show like a hand getting smashed in a industrial wood chopper or something, and I swear some of them had to have been directed by like John Carpenter or somebody, you know?
Because a lot of times I feel like these guys probably went to LA, like, you know, got trained and then had kids and realized like, oh, we want to be back home closer to the grandparents or whatever, but they don't want to give up the dream of making movies. And so they figure out how to do the thing that the community needs in that little town.
They probably get paid way more than they would for these B movies.
Yeah.
You know, like in these industrial videos with a big corporation paying them.
Right. Well, and now KU's film school was in the old Charlie Oldfather building, right? So he like, you know, he gave the building to the university, and that's where I took film classes and learned how to become a filmmaker. And so it's like, in a way, he kind of passed along even though he had to make things that were probably not his dream, he still kept the dream alive and then passed the torch, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know?
that's great.
Yeah, so maybe these guys did the same thing.
Oh, I'm sure. This is the one that really, just one more, and then we can move on. But this is the one that really got Nick and I started. Nick had this.
It's called Mr. T's Be Somebody, and it's a cover of Mr. T wearing all his regalia, his gold chains, his mohawk, and there's fireworks going off behind him, and he's smiling right into the camera, giving a big okay sign.
Yeah, it's called Mr. T's Be Somebody or Be Somebody's Fool. It's like a positive message to kids and what you can do and being a good person. It's an uplifting video, but we thought it was the funniest thing in like 1994.
Yeah.
I mean, our senior year of high school, we would pop this in all the time.
Sure.
We had all these running commentaries, and that was one of the very first ones.
So that and the McDonald's training video
were about the same time. And then there was a public access show that we loved at the time.
Yeah.
And it was those three. Those are the big three.
So what do you love about what makes bad things good? Because in a way you could say like all these tapes are bad. Like they kind of missed the mark in like they're not, you know, like Chihuahua or Nacho Chihuahua, the movie was probably trying to be like a good movie. Yeah. And it is widely considered to not be a good movie, but you guys have found it and love it. And so what is it that to you makes it great when other people could look at it and think that it's terrible?
My number one favorite movie of all time is American Movie.
Yeah.
And it's because it's inspiring to me every time I watch it, because it's a guy with very little resources trying to make an ambitious horror movie with his friends.
Yeah.
And that I like the story behind, like the movie Coven. I watched it recently and I was like, you know, okay, but I like the story, or trying to figure out the story behind the thing.
So you almost don't look at the product, you think about the people who made it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right down to like the graphic design for the cover. You know, just like it'll be a really low budget video, but their cover will be like, oh, this looks like, it's like, oh, they must have put all their budget into the design of the cover.
Right.
And then the best part is when you can actually track down these people and find out the real story behind it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, while I'm watching it, I'm always trying to, I'm coming up with theories. How did they get to this point? I will never shit on like a B movie, you know, like people are just like, oh, it's terrible. It's like, no, making a feature-length movie is hard.
So hard.
Even if it's the worst piece of shit in the world.
Right.
Even if it's over an hour and you dedicated that much time to gathering people and costumes and props and editing and then post-production. Yeah. That's a Herculean effort.
It really is. Yeah.
And so I will never shit on that, but I usually don't really enjoy watching B movies.
Right.
Like I usually just you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Right.
But I love hearing the stories behind them.
Yeah.
I love the interviews from the filmmakers, and
But in a lot of cases, these aren't B movies. Like these are remnants of a time, you know,
Yeah.
like Benedict's,
Right.
right? Is like that's about like the workout craze that happened in the 90s around VHS culture.
yeah.
And like,
Well, around Jane Fonda's workout more than she sold like 8 million copies or something.
is that right?
Yeah,
And so there are all these
Oh, and
copycats.
that's how everybody came. See, that's what I like. I like the cultural trends of it all, man. Why did we do that? Why did everybody want to do that? But then I also like the outliers. It's just like, why did that person make that one video? And is
Right.
as they were mentally ill, or
Right.
are they an artist who
Or-
just had this vision?
Or like this, like the Sip and Strip cup collection, which is like it looks like tumblers with like women who are sort of scantily clad,
Yeah.
looking at you while you
Right.
have a glass of juice. I guess. I don't,
For
yeah.
me, one thing that it isn't is nostalgia. I get kind of bored with nostalgia.
So this isn't like a celebration of like the 90s or something.
No,
Like
I mean, I'm a laugher. Like I come from a laughing family,
yeah.
a family that really just makes fun of everything. So when I see these videos, that's my first thing is to find the comedy in them.
I love it.
And, you know, but then I don't know, I ask questions like, how did it come to be? And
You're like
this person down.
you're like a comedy archeologist
Yeah.
or something.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that on my business card.
I like it. You're like the Indiana Jones of
Oh, that's even better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you like again, like you said, you're thinking about the story and the people behind each
Yeah.
of these artifacts.
Right. And I carry a whip with me everywhere I go.
All right. Well, here at the end of our episodes, we like to do what we call a lightning round, and we're not very good at keeping these snappy. So I'll try to ask them
Or something.
in a snappy way. But what was the gateway drug documentary for you, where you were like, I want to make a documentary. I could do this too.
Probably American Movie. That was the one that I got a bootleg copy of it.
Yeah.
too.
And this is the film by Chris Smith that's about Mark Borchardt and Mike Shank, and they're making a low-budget horror movie in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it just really spoke to me. And I'm from Wisconsin too. So like, these are guys that I went to high school with. And I spoke the language and I had the same ambition around the same time of wanting to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And that was the one that was like funny, but also inspiring. And also you're just rooting for this guy. And it's so rewatchable. I quote it daily.
Yes.
That was the big one.
What's your give me your favorite quote from it?
How the hell far away is this marsh now? When he's looking for a marsh with his mom, and he goes, "How the hell far away is this marsh now?" I say that all the time when I can't find something.
That's so good.
How the hell far away is this marsh now? It's such a Wisconsin way of saying it, dude.
My buddy Lee Phelan, who is a director of photography that I work with all the time and have for years, he says that we shot every f-stop known to man.
Yes. Yeah, I say that all the time. We'll get a hell of a lot of assistant directors saying, "Hey man, can you move back a few feet?" Oh. The whole movie is quotable.
It's so
but
good.
I would say that one definitely number one. But Sherman's March was one where I was like, oh, you can do different things with documentaries.
Yes.
And I just love that he started off with one direction
Yep.
for a documentary. He wanted to document the Sherman's March, and
Yep.
was it post-Civil War?
Yep. Of going down through the South, and yeah.
And then he'd get distracted by like, well, I'm in Raleigh. Maybe I'll swing by my ex-girlfriend's house.
Well, his girl, I love how it starts. He's like, I got a grant to make this historical documentary, but my girlfriend just broke up with me. And I'm like paralyzed about it. And I'm just going to start filming him. He starts filming himself.
Yeah.
And it's this like meditation on being heartbroken. And then he traces Sherman's March, but he's trying to meet women the whole time.
I remember seeing that and thinking like, this is brilliant. You could do other things. With
Yes,
documentaries.
same.
So,
I had the exact same experience. I love that movie so much. Okay, we think of this show as like the show that we wish were around when we were first starting out. So what would your advice be to somebody who is maybe working on their first documentary or interested in making a doc?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it today, but like my big thing is you have to be willing to sleep on couches. Like you have to be willing to be broke because there's not a lot of money up front for this stuff. And if you get money, great, but you're probably not gonna get a lot. Most people won't. And so you have to be willing to sleep on couches and also stick with it because like we had major pitfalls very early on with our first documentary, and then we found all these other arguably better stories that came out of it, but we had to wait 6 months.
Yeah.
And we used those 6 months to organize our footage and talk to our subject and to search for a new path. I shouldn't talk though. I have so many projects that I've shot the entire thing and I haven't edited it yet.
Yeah.
I think for early ones, for your first ones, you have to finish it.
Right.
You have to get that under your belt.
Yeah.
Because it's the best feeling in the world.
Matt Wolf, the director of the Pee Wee Herman doc, was an early guest, and that was his advice too. It was like, finish the projects that you start, because if you don't finish them, then you won't go on to the next one, basically.
Right. Yeah. No, and I have like 3 projects cooking right now, and I just,
Well, let's talk about that, because the last question is, what can you not stop thinking about right now? And part of the reason I'm here in New York is to go to a screening of your new doc.
Yeah.
So tell us about.
Oh man, this one. So we had an editor for Found Footage Festival. He's been with us since like volume 3 of the show. Great editor. And he stumbled across maybe 12, 13 years ago, a bucket of mini DV tapes over at one of his friend's house.
Like a literal bucket.
Like an actual bucket. Like that's what he told me. And that's what I tell us people. It always sounds weird to say, but he found a bucket of mini DVs and he's like, what's this? He's like, oh, I documented my family all through middle school and high school and into college. And Greg was like, what? He's like, can I look at it? So it turns out this kid was his friend from high school, was an aspiring filmmaker and had a camera that he got for Christmas, and he would film. He didn't, they made funny short films out in the backyard and stuff.
Right.
But he would also, every time there was a fight in their family, the family was, I don't want to say dysfunctional, but maybe a little dysfunctional.
Yeah.
He would pick up the camera and he would capture the craziness.
Wow.
And he did that over the course of about 10 years.
Wow.
And 300 hours of footage.
Oh my gosh.
Greg spent 10 years editing this project together.
Oh my
gosh. It's almost like Boyhood, like you watch this kid grow up. He took 300 hours, he whittled it down to about 85 minutes.
And there's no interviews with the family today. It's all just the footage that the kid shot.
Footage that the kid shot, and it's fascinating.
What are you guys calling it? What's the name of it?
We call it Video Filmed for Life. At one point, the mom looks at the camera and she goes, "I don't want to be video filmed for life." She's getting the words wrong, but she doesn't want to be video filmed for life. So he's like, "That's the title, Video Filmed for Life." The other thing about this movie is that it's so illegal. There's no everybody in the movie says, "I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be video filmed for life."
Wow.
And so he edited this together. He showed it to me, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, and I was fascinated by it. But I was like, "What are you gonna do with it?" And he's like, "I don't know. I have no idea." But he spent all this time. He was also in his parents' basement at the time, living for several years.
Oh boy.
I don't know what his situation was at the time, but he was working on this project, and he has this 10 years of this, and it's fascinating, but it's also like, what can we do with it? So
Found Footage got involved, and you guys are producers on it?
Came on as producers. Yeah. So we're helping out financially and with resources, and we sent it out. His finished cut we sent out to all the major festivals, Sundance and everything. We didn't get into any. They passed. Everybody passed, and I think I know why, but we got responses back from them saying this movie was mesmerizing. This movie, I can't stop thinking about it, but it just doesn't fit with the programming. And I kind of get why it doesn't fit with the programming, because it's such a slice of life with no guide. It's not narrated,
right?
It's just a slice of life from 2007 to 2016 or so.
Is there a 3-act structure? Does it feel like there's a resolution at the end?
A little bit, yeah. But there's definitely stuff that happens with results and consequences.
I can't wait to see this. And you're screening it where?
So we're screening at John Wilson's Theater, Low Cinema, in the Ridgewood, Queens.
And this is John Wilson of How To with John Wilson fame.
Yeah. And I told him about it, and he was like, "Absolutely." I was like, "It's kind of illegal, and we're making everybody sign NDAs beforehand," which he liked that idea.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun shtick.
Oh, so I have to sign an NDA for
night. Has to sign an NDA and appearance releases. But we're curious as to what everybody I send it to has loved it.
Yeah.
And I've sent it to maybe a dozen people. But I want to see what an audience sitting in a movie theater who I don't know
Yeah.
thinks about it. I have no idea how that.
And that's what we're doing tonight.
That's what we're doing tonight.
So
2
exciting.
screenings tonight. It's a small theater. It's like 45 seats.
Amazing.
And our lawyer Anderson, who you
Yeah.
know,
Oh yeah, from Shop and Steel.
from Shop
Yeah.
and Steel, is going to get up and say some words beforehand.
Awesome.
And then we'll do our NDA and
Oh wow, this is gonna be so good.
yeah.
Joe, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Is there anything we didn't talk about that you want to cover? Be sure to mention.
No, I think we covered it all. I think we're good.
People can find you at Found Footage.
Footagefest.com. Yeah,
Okay.
it's all of our stuff. Our Tuesday night shows. Tuesday night shows. We're trying to watch every single one of these VHS.
Oh my gosh,
Want
watch.
to join the journey? Oh, and we're touring around doing our new shows, and come out and see us and buy some merch.
For those of you who are listening, you have to click over and actually watch this video to see how many tapes are in this office.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to be surrounded by
Go to
this.
YouTube and watch How to Have Cyber Sex on the You won't be disappointed.
All right, you heard it here. All right, thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Next time on Dock Walks,
Next time, we are off the trail and heading out
to the mountains of Park City, Utah.
City one more time in Park City for the Sundance Film Festival.
We're going to Sundance again. I hadn't even been last year. Now I am going back.
This is a great one-on-ones already set up and to catch the vibe of the last Sundance as it unfolds before our eyes in Park City. And we want you to come with us.
So come along, as I'm very cold and Keith
is very good looking.
Very good looking, question mark, and we go to Park City.
And we're going to have 3 or 4 episodes coming to you on Dock Walks. Dock Walks is created, produced, and edited by my friend Ben Steinbauer of The Bear.
Hello. And my friend Keith Maitland of Go Valley.
Thanks for tuning in.
Follow us at Dock Walks Pod on Instagram, X, and YouTube.